and welcome to round 5 of the League of Europe Division 2 Championship. We are here at one of the most iconic tracks on the F1 calendar. It is Monaco in the night, as you can see under the lights here of the Principality streets. So, as per usual, I am joined by everyone's second favourite Dutchie. I'll leave you to debate who the favourite is. It's Verstappen.
Yeah, thanks for that mediocre intro.
Wow, okay.
No seriousness. Yeah, we're in Monaco. Well, basically the hardest track on the calendar by many, and we're here at nighttime. It's quite interesting.
Yes.
And we're here with a full grid as well. Get quite interesting on the streets of Monaco here.
Yes, yeah, fitting 20 cars through this race session is going to be something to look out for. Know that much, but hopefully, as I've just been seeing the chat, we've got intermediate tyres, well, intermediate conditions for the start of the race. As Mr. TBD8833, I'm not exactly sure who that is, but in terms of driver, but he is he's notified us that we will be seeing moisture on the track, which is going to make things very tasty in the race here, because it's hard enough driving Monaco in the dry. In the wet is a whole other matter.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's almost everyone's worst nightmare on an F1 track.
Yeah, certainly. Of course, you're now going to have to put up with the car washing across the surface, sliding on the exits of corners, so yeah, we'll see. Hopefully these guys get on okay. I'm watching the first car on track, which we know courtesy of the brilliant track maps, so we keep waxing lyrical about them, but of course, it's pretty handy for comp.
The first one on the lap, I think.
Yeah, he just hits the wall coming out at the end of the first sector. Don't think he got too much damage, or any at all, really. Of course, here at Monaco, it's going to be quite tough. You see V5 there. Oh, a bit awkward, because it's with 20 cars on track. It's going to be very difficult for these guys to stay out the way of each other, because they're going to be bunched up on track, and especially at the end of the session, we could be seeing some guys having their laps somewhat compromised. As Callum gets very close to the wall on the inside of the Nouvelle chicane, recovers it decently now, going through to back, fantastic corner. I don't think he's big hit on the wall. I'm pretty sure that must be damage, and I think he has backed off that lap. So we'll go look for someone else then, who's coming around the track now.
Let's see. I think McCrew is quite far on this lap. Not too sure with anyone else, but looks like he is coming to back right now. Willy Chiron and Piscine into the famous corner of Rasgas. Down to the last,
yeah.
Gonna eclipse the inside wall on the exit there. Does go on and is gonna set the first lap time here with a 109.710.
Yeah, not a bad lap considering he clipped the wall with his rear tyres at Rasgas. It does cost you quite a bit of time. Obviously these guys are going to be, I don't imagine they're going to be pushing too hard, given that it is Monaco, easy to get damage, you just work out laps in. But Gary puts in a very good lap there, 9.3, and he goes top of the timesheets. Sets a bit of a marker out for the rest of the guys to try and get to. So Gary Donegan, championship leader, currently setting the pace so far in this session.
Yeah, he's leading by 13 points as I just got the standings here ready. So Cookie Games just chasing after the DNF in Spain, and Dan in third place with 49 points. That is 26 behind Gary. So I have to do it a lot today to catch up to Gary. Anyways, V5 just gone into P3. Decent lap from him. And White just takes that over.
Very close, these guys are very tight, really behind Gary. You know, you got a couple of tenths separating.
3 tenths separating P2 to P8 already.
Yeah.
So
despite Monaco being a short lap, then I expect the times probably won't be particularly close, just because it's so technical, very easy to make a mistake. A lot of the times you'll see drivers not putting in the lap they want to in qualifying, just because it is so difficult to hook it up, you have to be absolutely on it, and that's what so many people love, and what so many people hate about Monaco. You know, it's a very divisive track in this community. As Rick's on his lap, they're right behind Morgan. Oh! They come together in the swimming pool. Morgan was trying to keep out the way, but Rick, taking the racing line, just clipped the Mercedes, and that's what I was mentioning earlier. So difficult to stay out the way at Monaco, and we saw a great example of that there. You know, you make an effort to not interrupt drivers' laps, but in the end, sometimes it can just be completely unavoidable.
Yeah, definitely. Especially through a sector 3 where you just can't move over. Except from maybe Raskas. Yeah, it's very tough to... And that's why you won't see, probably, especially in the wet, you won't see many on-track battles or overtakes here. Quite well known. That can go quite wrong if there's lower specs. But I think these drivers are perfectly capable of doing that, but still it'll be very, very tough to do that.
Oh yeah, it's very... this track, I've seen drivers try and go side by side here through multiple corners, and almost all the time it ends in tears. You know, it's just almost impossible to drive wheel to wheel with someone because the barriers are ever eager to catch someone out. I'm watching Callum actually right now, just at the end of his lap, coming out of Anthony Nodes. Luckily my knowledge of the corner names is decent at this track as he comes over the line. Does 10.2, puts himself just below the mid-pack, just behind the cluster of cars sitting on high 9s, but Gary currently way clear at the top, 9.3, time no one's got near so far.
Yeah, he's looking very strong around here. I think a few others will be trying to get close to him or even past him. Track position is as ever important here.
Ooh!
Oyster McGee, 38, goes with a 109 flat into P1.
So he's clearly got some pace around this track.
Yeah.
Almost 3/10 clear, championship leader Gary. Cookie's not on a flying lap. Dylan is, who has made a pretty decent account of himself so far this season, but massive cut over the chicane. It does like he cut it quite a bit. Not quite that. There's been an incident by the looks of things. Mark and Adri are going to run down towards Massenet, so I'm not sure what's happened there. Mark is behind Adri, so I'm guessing maybe that was another case, trying to let him through. Adri on his lap. I imagine the penalty might be quite unfair, because in qualifying, the penalties, with all due respect to Codemasters, they are not exactly the best. And Adri looks like he's got... let me just check. Yeah, he does... No, he doesn't have front wing damage, but yeah, it looks like they came together, and that's going to set Adri back for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Nah. Especially in such a track. Yeah, it's really tough for him. He's not had the best start to the season he would have hoped, probably. Currently sitting in 15th place in the championship. So, I'll be trying to make something out of it in the race, but trying maybe somewhat conservatively. I see an Alpha coming across the line, but I don't think he's on the lap. Matty G.
It's just the start of the lap, so we'll go on board with Matty G here. Go up towards Massenet. Really a nice corner, really. You got to try and keep it tight and open up Casino Square, which he takes pretty decently, besides a bit of oversteer on the exit. He's just 300ths down on his time, so he's got to try and find some time throughout the rest of the lap. Carmentalist has gone P2 there on a 9.2. Good lap from him. We'll be waiting for some of the other big hitters to get out there, show what they're capable of. Matty G gets the curb on the inside of Portier, can unsettle the car. Looks like he got away with it, just about missed the wall, so he's managed to cut some time off there. Now braking down into the first chicane, Novell chicane, takes it quite conservatively, not wanting to risk a hit on the wall. Oh, and speaking of hitting the wall, hits it both walls up to back. That's so easy to do, as Cookie Games goes to the top there in a 9-0, just in front of Oysen. I'm tempted to see, I'm excited to see how Oysen fares in the rest of the session. Clearly is got a good handle on this track and could be challenging for pole position, but Cookie at the moment looking to try and reclaim that lead in the championship, is top at the moment and looking good.
Yeah, definitely is. Oysen, I think he moved up from D3. He was deemed to be too fast for that. So Let's see how he finds his way in this grid. Let's see, White getting very close to one of the Torossos and heading back into the pits.
Well, I'm watching Rick here as he exits the final corner and still in front, and I think he's just starting his lap. But over the line comes Rick and he goes P5. Sort of best of the rest, you could call it, because the top 4 currently with quite a bit of an advantage over the rest of the field. The rest of the field, though, is still remarkably close. There's there's still 4 people on a 9.7, with just the 400s separating them. So yeah, even at Monaco, still, as we've seen all the way throughout the season, the field in qualifying ridiculously close.
Yeah, definitely. Nah, that's why we love seeing these guys make their way around and battle it out on track, which I don't think will be happening too much here, but anyways, I'm looking for someone on the lap. I think Nico is coming down into Raskas and to the final right left. Let's see where he comes out, revving the engine out, up into the line and gets a 109.5 just behind his teammates, 210 status.
Yeah, decent lap from Nico there, tucking behind his teammate. These Pink Panthers, they always seem to be really tight. They always seem to be really close in qualifying. Always right next to each other on the grids, and usually up the front of the grid. They've both put in very good performances in that regard. Of course, Nico coming out from D3 has impressed, but the consistent results haven't quite come through yet. I believe Killer Blue is just coming towards the end of the lap, very deep into Razcast though. It's going to cost him some time. Now, exit of Anthony Nodes, up the gears. Where does he go? He's currently sitting on a 9.8. That's a 9.6. And look at that, only 2/10 faster, and he jumps well up the grid into P6 as McCrew, I think. Yeah, McCrew's on a 0.1. Pushes up to P3. So a lot of jostling in the field. Luckily, well, because it's possible to do 4 different runs in qualifying, we're seeing a very busy session. Not a lot of dull moments, which is good for us. We love watching.
Going up to P7.
Yep. So V5 there tucks in just behind Nico. We're seeing some more quick times. The guys that were on the 9.7 that were in the top 5 are now outside the top 10, so they're going to have to improve. So the times are coming down. No one in the 8s yet, but I think that is a possibility, as Oyston is not on a lap. He's invalidated. I just keeping an eye on him because he does seem to be very well. He's impressed me for sure, and we'll see how he gets on. So just looking to see if anyone else is on a lap. I believe Adri's on a lap. He's very low on ERS. I suppose we'll keep an eye on him. Anyway, very wide going through the chicane. That's going to cost them a lot of time. They're coming through to back. 4th gear, I think he's backed off that lap. So for someone else then, it's a lot of cars in the pit lane preparing for their final runs. I think V5's going in. Oysen is actually lapping as well. So we'll go on board with him. He's just down in the first sector by 9 thousandths. Definitely an opportunity to gain some time. Puts it in the first gear through, I don't know, I think it's like turn 7. Now Portier onto the outside curb, just a little bit now on the power. In hot lap mode, shifts it to 7th gear now on the brakes there. Hard on the brakes, shifting down 2nd gear, get close to the wall on the inside and over the curb there on the apex. Very nice run through there, now through to back. One of the most fun corners on this track. He's a 10th up, so at the moment on for pole position, but he hits the wall on the inside. Oh, the swimming pool just about rescues it with a bit of wall riding on the exit. We'll see if that's cost him some time. If he's still able to improve, he should still have another run after this. Better sliding, the lap is kind of falling apart right at the end. Does he still go fastest? Yes, he does, just about. He's just under 10th clear at the top. Oysen coming up from D3. And currently, really impressing, just under a 10th quicker than a championship contender.
Yeah, very impressive lap. First one to dip into the 108s. One person who will be looking to that as well is Mr. Eloy Gary Dunnigan. Come up to the Nova chicane. Need to cut that, but not too much, and yeah, that's invalidated. So he's not going to be happy about that, but he might have another run. Matty G is also on lap.
Gary still seems to be pushing very hard, which is quite confusing. But oh, he's spun just going into the pit lane. He was trying to enter it quite aggressively. Luckily, it doesn't look like he's interrupted anyone laps. I think Matty G was just coming around Razcast at the time. He also pits, and Morgan. Okay. Just got to him and he's gone straight over the Nobel chicane. A lot of cars in the pits there just preparing for their final run, so maybe now we've got a bit of a lull in this session. Is Nico on the lap? Yes, he is. So we'll go on board with the Spaniard here as he goes down towards Masseny.
Yeah, so Masseny, he keeps in 6th gear. It's quite unorthodox. Getting into Casino Square, hits the wall slightly on the entry there. And it's 2,000 clear of his time. Just not anything down to low hairpin slow score on the calendar, down into 38 kilometers an hour. Let's see, into Portenay. Let's see. Getting the power down, difficult traction zone, into the tunnel. Gotta be taking this correctly, down into the Nobel chicane, downhill braking zone, very easy to lock up there. Gets round wide nicely into the back. As you mentioned, one of the best corners on the calendar, in my opinion. He's almost 2/10 up on his time, hits the wall on the exit there, might be continuing on though. Let's see, into Raskas, down to the final car, and he heads into the pits. Anticlimactic.
Must have been down on his time. He's not going to be able to get out again, I don't believe. But it'd take a miracle for it.
Yeah, needs to be really quick for that to happen. Everyone's just getting on their laps now. I think the Rosses are quite close. I think Dylan just starting his lap.
Yeah, and Mark was on a lap being validated down at the chicane. So we'll go aboard with Dylan, who's the only car not to set a time yet in this session. And of course he has had good qualifying results this season, so we'll be looking to impress. As an 18.5 first sector now down first gear, round Mirabeau, and a braking straight line there into those hairpin. 37 kilometers an hour. Again, it's just I feel like because these F1 cars, relatively speaking, they're quite heavy compared to their predecessors. That corner is even more painful than it used to be. Bunty is out the session. He won't be improving on 19th place. Adri, yeah, P6, good lap. As Dylan, quite conservative going through that chicane, not taking too much of the curb now into to back there, just missing that curb on the inside, taking it quite cautiously, it must be said, but he does want to get some sort of time in, and maybe, that's not how to do it, he's hit the wall, invalidated as well, and I think that's going to be his session done, unless he goes for another, well, he is going to try another lap, get something on the board, but it's not looking good for him at the moment.
No, you gotta look, as Callum has been disqualified for going the wrong way. That's at the Nobel chicane, might have spun there. It's really important for him.
Looking to see
drivers. Let's see. Yeah, I think Dan is close to ending his lap. Another Ferrari as well. I think it might be Mark.
Oh, get out of the way, Callum! Oh, I was watching Dan there. He was purple through the second sector, but got held up slightly. Locks up massively going into Raskas, and he's not improving. He's backed off. Dan will not be in the top 10 in this session. Nico's out as well. He won't be improving on 7th. Who is near the end of the lap? Cookie Games here. Does he improve on his time? Yes, he does. He goes pole position by 0.04 of a second over Osen. Sorry. He's still Osen's still on the lap though. He is not invalid. He's still pushing. 4th gear through to back. Yellow flags there. Oh, Rick! He gets put off massively by that. That's ruined his lap. Matty G 4th then. Great lap from him. Carmentos invalidates his lap. Gary Donegan run up to the line. What does he grab? He does not improve. Well, I think, yeah, I think he may have improved slightly.
Improvement, but no place.
Yep, so he stays in P6 then. McCrew, Pets, he won't be improving. Adri's just cruising around. Rex car is putting off a lot of laps. YHYY run up to the line. No, he was way down on his time. Morgan, I think, is going to be the last car through, and he's cruising. So a bit of an anticlimax to this session, but it is Cookie Games who takes a crucial pole position, of course, at the well, probably the most important pole on the calendar, and the Red Bull man up at the top, and with his championship rival down in P6, he's got a great opportunity to retake the championship lead. Cookie Games on pole position with 108.9.
Yeah, and Oysen looking very close as well. He'll be looking maybe mug off Cookie into turn 1 if he can, but remember it's wet, so the start might be very chaotic. And it's gonna be very interesting with into conditions. I wonder if some drivers may have chosen for some adjusted setups.
That is true. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Andrew with his penalty. We don't know how he picked that one up, but I'll run through the results. So Cookie on a pole position, of course, very important in the wet as well. Won't be getting that spray as long as he keeps the lead going into turn 1. Oysen impresses in P2 just in front of McCrew. Matty G with a good lap 4th just from car mentalist. Gary, a bit of a blow in his championship, down in 6th just ahead of Adri 7th with a 5th-place penalty. Nico V5 killer round out the top 10. Then outside the top 10 we've got Rick, Dan, YHYY, Harry Nwarg, Mark, Morgan, Super Gamer, Bunty, Dylan and Callum, who of course got disqualified for that session in a fairly strange manner. But I'm looking forward to this race. Is that the right term? Because I'm
definitely.
So I'm looking forward to it. I think we should see some good action. As you can see, the track is very much moist. No out of context, please. Well, great way to start this race coverage.
Anyways, so driver's just getting the setups ready. Let's see. I'm actually interested to see, as we know, the mediums and hards go an insane amount of laps. But will the inters go that far? And will they need to pit for another set of inters, or maybe dry tires if it dries up? Or is it just going to say inters for the entire race? Very interested to see how that develops throughout the race.
So many questions that we'll have answered in the next 50 minutes or so. Cookie Games leads them away on the formation lap. So of course, looking at tyre choices, well, there won't be much variety, I assume.
No,
see if anyone's decided. See, I was wondering if anyone was on a madness there and just thought, actually, I'll stick on the slicks for this one. Looks dry enough.
Or the Fouette, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It would be fun. Imagine if they chose that and they just jump well. Oh, Gary's disconnected. Oh dear. Well, hopefully.
Oh dear.
Well, obviously, I hope that he has backup invites and he can get back in the session. Okay, his car's stopped on track as well, and there's a bit of confusion down there in the midfield. Car's not sure whether to overtake or not, because it's just, I don't know, it's a stationary racing point there. What can you do? So the car is obviously crawling through.
On the grid.
And there he goes back in. Can he take control of his car?
Because he's now in the menu, so he needs to load in now. Cookie Games is on a very fast formation lap, I can tell. Just getting grips of the conditions, I reckon. He's
also maybe trying to keep temperature in the tires. Of course, he's going to be sitting on the grid for longer than any of these cars, so he'll obviously want to
excluding the four that are already on the grid. Let's see, can Gary get back in his car? I'll keep an eye on that.
Okay, so we've got quite a spread out formation lap, bit of an odd one, but it is Cookie Games who will take his slot at the front of the grid. Gary's car looks to be driving okay.
Yeah, but it's not, he's not here yet.
Hopefully that doesn't affect the start of the race. We're getting more and more cars on the grid now. Gary's AI car is coming round Anthony Nose just about now, and we'll see, because obviously Codemasters, with their lovely loading times on the game. Of course the AI doesn't take control of his car, but it has control of his car anyway. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. But looking elsewhere, it's Cookie lining up at the front of the field for this, what will surely be a crazy race here at Monaco. We got 3, 4, 5 lights. Lights out away we go. Super Gamer gets drive to the penalty, jump in the start there. Cookie's away well at the front. Looks like Gary's back in his car as well. As always under pressure from McCrew. Pinches the Williams to the inside of Sander Font. And we're looking there. Looks like a cleaning up start there. Everyone, of course, fighting traction up the hill. Wheel to wheel V5 just getting in front of Killer Blue. The Ferrari tucks in behind. Cookie has jumped well out in front of the start there, using that pole position to his advantage, as this doesn't look like there's much changes. Everyone taking it quite easy. We'll see how it fares. Going into the airplane. Whoa, Dan very late on the brakes, almost at the inside of Rick, and he's holding up everyone now behind him. They're going too wide there through Mirabeau. It's going to stack up hugely there. I saw YYY running to the back.
Damage all over the place there.
Yeah.
let's hope it doesn't affect too many drivers. I think Dylan is also basically in the wall
Dylan's
there.
in the wall. Yeah, Dylan got forced into the wall, I think, on the outside. Of course, in the wet, you're seeing a lot of cars just getting checked up there, and a lot of the times there's nothing you can do. But Cookie Games will be glad that he got pole position. Hits the wall actually going through to back. Doesn't have damage. It looks like he might have just got away with it, but he currently leads the field. Oysen with a bit of feisty defensive driving. We've got a lot of drivers picking up penalties. McCrew ran wide, as did Morgan, going through that swimming pool chicane. But Cookie leans, although I'm wondering if he did have damage, because that gap to Oysen has dropped a considerable amount. Has got about half a second covering a lot of cars here. As Nico gets very out of shape. A lot of guys struggling with trying to keep this car under control, as watched by Y, and a few others coming into the pits at the end of the first lap.
Yeah, that includes B. Morgan, Callum, Super Gamer, and Dylan, who I think all have picked up some damage. Always top 12, all haven't changed. Bunty is somehow up 5 positions, so he's managed to avoid some collisions, maybe. Start from it. And of course, a few guys spit in helps as well.
You can see here, yeah, amazingly, the top 12 staying in the same order. Those guys were the ones taking it relatively cautiously, apart from Dan, who made a huge lunge on Rick. I think that was just the cautiousness. There's a
Carmentalist.
Yeah, Carmentalist having a look at the inside of Matty G. Matty G goes over the chicane, gets a penalty for his troubles, and as expected, a lot of drivers struggling with the conditions there. I'm seeing a lot of penalties being picked up in the first lap and a half of this race, which is unheard of. That car must be so scary going through that swimming pool. The car wants to snap out from underneath you, wants to aquaplane, and you've got to try and tame it. But currently, Cookie Games is leading, but he's coming under all sorts of pressure. Oysen's all over him here.
Yeah, he's looking quite fast already. He says he's the fastest lap with a 124.4. But overtaking won't be easy, as mentioned before. Well, Dylan gets a penalty as well now. I think B. Morgan then.
Oh, yellows. I think it's B. Morgan, yep.
Yeah.
Slow coming through to back. I think he might have had a bit of oversteer out of the chicane. I would not be surprised. Does seem very easy to do so. Oysen looks like he's got the pace on Cookie early on. Just first impressions. Maybe Cookie taking a little bit of time to get into the groove. Of course, these guys with a decent gap over McCrew in P3. But the thing is, with overtaking a car at Monaco, you can't really try and force anything, or you shouldn't try and force anything, because yeah, you're just gonna probably end up making contact with the guy. What you need to do is try and make them make a mistake. And Cookie, what he needs to do is just keep it nice and clean off the walls, just not avoid that wheel spin, and keep that car on track. Force Oysen to try and push that little bit too hard. So it's going to come down, realistically, in this race to who makes the least mistakes. Because, let's be honest, Monaco in the wet, people are going to make mistakes. And it's just really all about who keeps it clean and who keeps it on the island. And I think those are the drivers that will be rewarded here.
Yeah, definitely. So we see a whole lot of drivers picking up penalties. There's a place at the Nova chicane and turn 1 as well. Can be very tough to avoid penalties, keep on the racing line. And we see a lot of drivers not being used to the wet, and yeah, just shooting wide a few times or making a couple of mistakes.
Well, it looks like there's a few gaps starting to form at the moment. Nico in particular dropping off the cars ahead, maybe just trying to get to grips with these conditions and being a bit more cautious than some. He's got a large train behind him, all the way down to, I think Adri is still in contention, as YHYY has moved past Super Gamer there, and I think Super Gamer has made a mistake. Coming out of Sandefjord, runs very wide going through Mass, and he hits the wall. I think he's got major front wing damage, and it won't cost you as much in the wet as it will on the dry, but still, that's a huge blow to his race after already pitting once. So yeah, Super Gamer having a mare so far in this race, and looks like he might have to pit again, who knows.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. So Bunty, I think, has clipped the wall on the... and there's a safety car now.
Oh wow. Safety car deployed. It wasn't even out. Safety car with this patch is very it's triggered very easily, it must be said, and yeah, that's an example of it. And of course, not expecting anyone really to come into the pits. We're just going to see guys staying out, trying to preserve the track position, which is all the more important.
Yeah, I see
at
Bunty in, but of course he has damage, so that's understandable. I think someone like Super Gamer might be coming in as well. It's great for these guys. B Morgan was actually almost lapped at that point.
Oh, wow.
Maybe, because he has had 2 pit stops, if I'm correct. Yes, he has. Yeah, there's a couple guys in the pits just fixing their damage. But other than that, we don't see any pit stops happening at the moment. I think those might be coming later on in the race.
Yes, indeed. So, of course, what these guys now need to do is try and keep the tyre temperatures up, which is going to be difficult at this sort of speed. So, watch. Maybe we'll see some insane tyre warming skills from some people. And, yeah, hopefully we can see that. But, yeah, that does close up the field. I know McCrew was struggling to match the pace of the front, so he's got another chance to do so. But in the wet, on safety car restarts, the lead car always has a huge advantage. They've got clear vision in front of them, which is huge. And they've got much more grip as well because they're not having to sit in the wake of another car. Off the restarts, usually the lead car gets a big advantage. So let's see if Cookie's able to manage this in such a way that that's able to give him that sort of advantage. As yeah, there's not much to say really. The driver's running through Anthony Nodes, and of course, hopefully we don't see anyone hitting the walls on the safety car period. That would be best for them. But of course, this does give some of the guys further back of the field a chance to get back in contention and still fight for good results here.
Yeah, and it's quite quiet at the moment. I'll get already through some penalties. Why not? So the top 2 is still clear of any penalties, always onto warning zone. McCrew is already on a penalty. Matty G is on a penalty. Carmencelis has 1 warning. Gary's on 2 warnings, I don't know if that's from contact or whatever. Nico's on a penalty. P5 is fully clear, well done to him. Kilburn 1 warning. Rick fully clear. Dan has a warning as Civil Game is out.
Oh,
retired.
P5? I think he's got that at the hairpin. But he's just picked up a 10-second penalty for corner cutting. Which...
Wait. That's very strange. I think that might be due to some wet conditions playing in part. You see that at the hairpin in China as well, I believe. It's wet, you can, if you cut it minorly, you can actually get it 10 seconds or something. So, I'm assuming the game can get that removed, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean... How could you give a 10-second Come on, Cody's. Seriously, what can it... V5... Oh yeah, he's getting a massive advantage from slightly going over that curb.
Under the safety car.
Honestly. Just give me a break. So, I'm hoping... Yeah, Super Gamer, the reason he's retired, I think he rage quit because I was on board... I just caught him there at the back. He got a penalty and then managed to lose his entire front wing in the last sector, so... Just a complete nightmare race for him, and... retires, which usually is quite frowned upon. As Matty G.
That's the one. That's again such a penalty as V5.
Just, I'm lost for words at this point. Like, come on, how can you give someone a penalty for corner cutting under a safety car? Like, in what world is going off the track very slightly giving you an advantage?
Under the safety car, in a train, where you can't overtake. That makes sense.
Oh god. I mean, like, oh, Matty G as well, he's going over that curb. Very careful, you might pick up a 10-second penalty there. I mean...
Yeah, I think if the drivers have some sort of stream on, you know, you gotta watch out for those penalties, I suppose, once. Not only they can get you out, get in those seconds, but they can also frustrate you kind of badly, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, if Matty G and V5 are listening to the stream, just remember at the end of the race to save your footage, because you can quite easily get penalties like that removed. As safety car is going to be in this lap. Morgan still hasn't caught the train yet. Maybe he
He's
will.
gonna. Pretty sure at this pace, Cookie is driving. I think B Morgan might be able to catch up.
Hopefully he is, but Cookie Games, he's actually not going that
Watch out
slowly.
for cold tires. Watch out for cold tires. This can actually be quite chaotic.
Especially in the wake of another car. Cookie goes very slowly, and Oyson certainly got very close to him. He's now going. Cookie gets the race back underway after safety car period there. He's already a second clear. I said leading car gets such a huge advantage under these safety car conditions. These guys are going to have to nurse the cars. Gary Donegan immediately picks up a penalty, and we've got Carmentos. He's looking for that move. Has a look at Matty G. No luck for him there. Killer Blues getting very close to V5. Looks down the inside of Massenet. V5's all out of shape there, going through the corner, and gets oversteer on the exit as well. Into Casino Square. Does he keep it on the island? Yes, he does, but Killer's alongside him. Down into Mirabeau. Gets that inside line, then you can't really hold it around the outside there. So Killer Blues up into 8th place, V5. Maybe not quite getting as much temperature into the tyres as he wanted. Struggling there. Sliding all the way through those corners, and he drops behind Killer Blue into 9th now.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example of waiting for your opponents to make a mistake. As speaking of making a mistake, I think Bunty made a mistake at the lowest hairpin, and he's looking like he has one part of his wing, or maybe an end plate only, I can't really tell, off his car. So this is great for him. As
Dylan's gone. Dylan's, yeah, I think must have made a big contact, I'm not sure, but Callum, Dylan, sorry, losing time there, and with front wing damage into the wall as well. That's another end plate gone. Cookie still leads though. Oyson though, again, these first couple of laps, he's able to get up to speed that a little bit quicker and putting pressure on the Red Bull man again. Dylan with another penalty there. Nightmare race for him as well.
Yeah, definitely. So you still gotta keep on, because it's Monaco, it's wet, you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was yet another safety car. But yeah, Cookie still leads, just clear of Oyson, McCrew in this group as well. The Batty G struggling a little bit. Bunty's out. Do we have a safety car? He's he's retired in the pit lane, so I don't expect it to be deployed. Still got yellows though in that section, but it looks like we're going to be able to carry on racing then. As it looks like this time McCrew is a little bit more switched on there. He's done well in these first few laps, currently staying with the top two and staying in contention to keep these guys honest there and keep them on their toes if they make a mistake.
Yeah, definitely. As Cookie goes a bit deep in there, and Oyson is looking.
No way through.
It's not too wise to get it down the inside there, or around the outside per se. Adri, I think, made a mistake. Actually, Harry, with 10-second time penalty. Don't know what's happened there, really. Might have just gone wide or something. B Morgan also picking up a penalty. But at the moment, it's the top 5, looking like it's breaking away.
Yeah, just slightly there. Gary looks to just be struggling a little bit in these wet conditions. Maybe he did sacrifice himself. In fact, both racing points a little bit off the pace so far in this race. And, well, it must be quite intimidating. Monaco in the wet at night, and then these guys not quite able to adapt. Of course, most people don't put in a huge amount of wet practice, so usually that does alter the playing field a little bit, and we're seeing that certainly there with the racing points, usually right up the front of the field, struggling a little bit more. But Cookie's just doing what he needs to do here. He's lost an end plate actually, but because it's so difficult to overtake, he's just driving with no mistakes and currently able to hold this lead. But in the pit stops, we'll see if he goes for a wing change, because that might change the entire complexion of this race. It's still so close at the front.
Yeah, and you can see, I think he might have picked it up at this Novo chicane last time out. That's basically everyone up until Rick basically is within a second of each other, with the exception of Matty G just being outside of that. McCrew looking very close to Oyson once again, and he looks on the pace. It looks like he wants to get past, but well, it's Monaco in the wet. What are you gonna do?
Exactly. I actually have a suspicion that Oyson has slight damage as well. Maybe not quite as badly as Cookie, but I can too see on that bright end plate there might be something wrong. We'll watch going into Sandon Phone. Yeah, he does have damage. He does have damage. So both the top two having damage. I believe McCrew is all clean.
Yeah, it looks like he is.
So
As
McCrew,
Blue is getting past Nico. I think Nico might have made a mistake because Nico's lost some. I think he might have had wing damage. See,
doesn't look like it. I have very
Then he
minor.
It's an oversteer out of turn 1, maybe.
Well,
That's obviously difficult traction, especially in the wets. Dylan said in the fast lap of the race.
yeah, you see, Killer Blue, despite having damaged himself, a lot of damaged cars out there on track, but he's proven that you can, in fact, overtake at Monaco, and he's not far off. He's not far off this lead group, actually. I still think McCrew, he does have that penalty, but he still, if he just waits for errors, he has that extra downforce on these guys. He might still be in with a decent chance of potentially winning this race, but of course, I think it's too early to jump to conclusions. There's a long, long way to go in this race, and well, it's Monaco in the way. I expect there's going to be a lot more carnage that's going to ensue, and hopefully it's pretty clean. But of course, it can always be quite difficult to achieve that. Cookie still leads though, going on lap 12. Holding his nerve at the front there, and
Carmentalist close to Mandy Keep, but not looking for a move there. Anyway, I'm curious to see, is this, because the weather isn't really improving at the moment, but will it be happening and improving further through the race, as that could influence the guys with wing damage, so maybe get that changed, because Monaco in the dry with wing damage, I wouldn't recommend that to you, to be honest.
No, not at all. As we're still saying, I'm amazed actually about how close the field is maintaining. We've got Dan, who's actually for once seems to be outside the top 10 here, and I don't imagine he's picked up a penalty because he's immune to that.
Yeah.
As Rick closing down V5. V5's had a couple of hairy moments as well so far. It's really been Killer that's impressed me with his pace in the wet. Looks like he's put all his eggs in one basket with his setup. Full wet, and at the moment he's looking very good here, and he looks as though, despite that damage, he's beginning to reel in that leading group as well, that leading group of 6, if you will. Although he just picked up a penalty. Commentators cursed at his finest there. As it, Killer Blue, not great to see. Still Oysen, he's close this time to Cookie, but down the straights, not quite there. He's saving up his ERS. All these guys doing a very good job of looking after that, but of course it is in the way, it's easier to do so. Still, it's pretty impressive that they were able to run this closely without coming together yet, as Oysen gets very close to Cookie, just as I say that. Was hoping not to have a second commentator's curse in 30 seconds, but Cookie still holding on at the front of McCrew. Of course, as he braked very early, Matty G almost came together with him there. These guys, looks like they're not exactly, I don't think any of these guys are really running at their full capacity in terms of pace. They're just trying to keep it together, which is fair enough. And obviously they all have to run to the pace of Cookie, pretty much. And Cookie can just dictate the way this race is run. If he's going to take it easy and try and hold everyone up, but he's going to do so. And at the moment, he's doing a good job there, not being overtaken. But the pressure is going to still continue to mount. Oh, I say that! Another commentator's curse from me. Oh, and McCrew picks up a really unfortunate penalty. Luckily, Oysen's able to get out of the way. So
that's not what you want to see.
Oh, yellows as well.
In a really good position.
Yeah, Oysen, I've been a massive curse to these guys, but yeah, Oysen, that's so unfortunate. He just tagged that wall on the inside, which is quite easy to do if you get close. And yeah, just when he's been so impressive in this race. Now he's had to essentially reset, and he does pull into the pits because I think he may have picked up some damage. As Cookie picks up a penalty. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, that levels the playing field up at the front.
Except, I think, I'm gonna check if I'm correct on this one. I believe Carmentalist is still clean. And will you look what the gap is from Cookie Games to Carmentalist at the moment?
Ooh. Eye emoji. But, McCrew.
He's doing a very good job, and you never know. Things happen here.
If McCrew's able to get past Cookie, I feel like he'd be able to establish a gap though, because he's still, I believe, damage free. But obviously, If he wants to do that, he has to overtake championship contender in the wet at Monaco. It's not exactly a position you really want to be in, but Cookie's still doing a sterling job up front, under pressure from this Williams. I'm sorry if the midfield's not got a huge amount of coverage, but I've had a lead battle all the way through this race. Can you really complain? McCrew, right on the back of Cookie's, forced an error from him, but there's no move into Razcast. Now he switches up his line. He can get a better run out the corner. It's all about this exit off of Anthony Nodes, and of course without DRS, it's an overtaking opportunity, compromise down this straight. He's not far away, McCrew, but really can't be sending dive bombs here at any point at Monaco. Cookie misses the apex of Sandebon. It looks like he's just got enough straight line speed to stay ahead of the game every time, and currently every challenge that's been thrown at him he's been equal to, and still the Red Bull driver leads this race, but he's under huge pressure from McCrew now.
Yeah, and McCrew's looking. He's looking. But Cookie fenced that off quite well. And perhaps to try another time.
Jekyll's made a very interesting point in the chat here. If McCrew wins this race, then Monaco can't be deemed as a real track anymore. McCrew obviously a pad driver, but
to be fair, it is wet.
That I was just about to say that in response to that comment, Jekyll. We are racing in the wet, and pad up. Oh, is McCrew's run very wide going through the chicane? Is that going to give Matty G a run on the exit? He gets a good exit compared to McCrew, but no way through. Doesn't quite have the momentum to follow through. Still, car mentalist. If you have checked, is the Toro Rosso man still clean actually in this race?
Yeah, he is.
So currently, he is in the net lead, I believe, of this race. Check the leader gap. It's sitting about 1.5 seconds to the lead as McCrew closes up. He made a mistake, and look, he's right back on the back of him. Really, Cookie really struggling.
On the
V5.
back of him, very much on the back of him. Cookie looks to be struggling quite a bit. I see a couple drivers heading into the pits for no inters. Could this mean that the tires are going off as McCrew 1.5 them off, as he's basically okay?
Well, we apologise. Oh, and McCrew takes the lead. Great, absolutely great. Is that how the lead is going to change hand in this race? Oh. Anyway, apologies for anyone that's under the age of 18, as actually both me and Verstappen are. So we feel we're not happy to have witnessed that. But McCrew somehow into the lead. Bit of a hollow moment in this race, and. Why is there such a thing on this game? Cars just completely desynced. We've been robbed of a battle for the lead there, pretty much.
I don't know if it's desynced, because I've had the same situation in D1 actually, where I think I was side by side with Alonso at some point, and I've kind of got launched up in the air, like the way that has been, but I think it was for a longer time. So I'm not sure how these drivers have experienced this moment. But look at McCrew, almost getting a 2-second gap, and Cookie's in. And he's onto another set of inters.
Does he change front wing? This could be key actually. He is going to get a front wing change. So now, we turn our attentions to this man, Gary Donegan. Currently P4 on track, just by Matty G. McCrew. The gap he's pulled, I guess that shows how much Cookie was backing up the field. Because McCrew was just sprinted away. As he's behind V5. So V5 with that undercut, working well.
He's actually Oysen. Look who's close.
Oh, side by side, turn one. Who gets it on the exit? They're almost wheel to wheel. Cookie's almost putting him in the wall there. The McLaren, they come together multiple times on the straight. Cookie's fishtailing it. Oysen is through. Wow. Cookie got out of shape. Cookie was like, he got a full tank slapper on all the way down the straight. Rick is past Nico. Nico's got damage, I think, because he's going incredibly slowly. He's run wide again. Rick's at the inside. Looks like the Spaniard has made an error. It doesn't look like, he has definitely got damage. My apologies. So he's made an error, and that's dropped it back.
Yeah,
he's gonna
left end plate is completely gone. So I reckon we can see him pitting very soon as well.
Yeah, I still can't. I'm still in disbelief. I think it was weird. So Cookie was coming out. I think Oysen probably deserves that position. Cookie did squeeze him towards the wall a little bit. Did really well to save it. And both of them did, in fairness. I can't believe they're still going. and they can still both get some pretty decent points after us. So we're seeing these guys at the front, staying out, trying to put down some lap times, but I want to see, wait, can we get, oh, there's no delta for last lap, but yeah, now, I reckon we're going to be seeing the guys in that midfield. I reckon V5's put himself in a great position in this race for that undercut. Now, currently P12, he could jump up right towards the front here, but he has got that penalty obviously, but I think he can get that removed.
Yeah, definitely. V5 has had quite a clean race. Few mistakes in the opening stints, but looks to be very clean. Carmental is right at the back of Matty G, but Matty G getting better exit out of the tunnel. Or into the tunnel, I should have said.
The rain is still not giving. I've got to be honest,
Yeah,
it's just been constant.
Was there specific if it's gonna dry up or?
No, there wasn't. So it might just stay this way the entire race. But we're going to have to wait and see. That's the fun of it. As commentators, I don't like knowing too much about the conditions. Actually, it's fun to keep guessing. Does McCrew pit? I'm expecting some pit stops, to be honest. If it's going to stay wet to the end of the race, and as I say that, Matty G is in. Where does he come out relative to V5 now, who's got a 5.5 second buffer to Oysen behind him? V5 really coming alive and putting himself in a great position to maybe even challenge for a podium here.
Matty G has a stop-go penalty.
Oh yeah, he has lost a lot of time.
Those corner cuts, and that means he can't get that removed, can he?
No, it's yeah, it's pretty much impossible. Where does he come out relative to some of these guys then? He's going to be right next to Oysen. Does he jump Oysen on the exit? No, the McLaren is in front just about. Cookie sitting in behind him. And Warwick's behind him as well, who pitted just even earlier than V5 actually. See, actually that might be a bit confusing because used tyres. Bit of a brain fade from me there, but McCrew just continues to extend that lead out in front. He's got crazy pace in these wet conditions. He runs a bit wide going through the chicane, but at the moment...
Close to Killer Blue. He's looking for it. Killer Blue runs deep into the Nova chicane. Probably has picked up a warning for that, but maintains the position for now.
Yes, Nico made a mistake coming out the chicane as well. That's got YHYY all over him going towards the back, but very difficult to force anything into that corner. McCrew still staying out, which I think is fair enough. You know, he's got into a bit of the rhythm on these tyres. As Dylan, I think he's just dropped behind Callum there on older tyres. Callum gets himself up 16th. Oh, Dylan's hit the wall again coming out the tunnel. Oh, it's just been a horrible race for him.
Is this just me, or I don't see any drops anymore on the car. I don't know if that's been the case before. It looks like it's getting slightly drier.
No, I think you are right. Yeah, I don't see any.
The spray looks to be going away slightly as well. Just look, for example, YHYY close to Nico. It's still a bit of spray, but it's not too much anymore.
I think the rain is just out of nowhere, really. It looks to have stopped, I have to be honest. Yeah, the rain has completely stopped. So, well, we were talking about how it likes a V5 and put themselves in a great position in this race. Now, it's not looking quite so optimistic.
As B. Morgan has retired from the
Is it going to be a safety car? Is it a safety car? That's a huge question, because we could be seeing...
It doesn't look like it's Kilblue runs wide again. The Nova chicane. Doesn't look like it's going to be any sort of safety car.
And so well, Killer Blue hits the wall coming out to back though.
I saw something flying off, I'm pretty sure, from Rick's BFE.
Any pit stops, McCrew stays out, Carmental stays out, which is no surprise really. These guys, I imagine they are really struggling with these tyres now.
Killer Blue is now in, and maybe he has
he's going on mediums, he's going on mediums.
Ooh, he's taking a gamble here, and also getting his wing changed. I don't think it's dry enough for slick just yet.
It's been dry for about a lap. I don't see... Let's keep a close eye on him.
Yeah, I'll give that a look. Let's see, where does he come out? I think just... Where's Adri? Let's see.
Oh, that did not look promising out of the pit lane. He's really fighting traction. Yeah. Oh dear! Watch it, it's gonna wash across the road. Thankfully, it doesn't take out Adri, and well, he gets the car going. Let's see, how does he fare? Going down towards Massenet, it's the real test. On the brakes, doesn't look terrible, but realistically he is definitely off the pace, and yeah, he's made a gamble which you have to respect, but it doesn't look too good for him now. He's dropping back, he's going to be seconds a lap slow. The car just washing across the track surface, no grip from the tyres, sliding out as well. Keller unfortunately seems to have jumped the gun, and yeah, he's going to really suffer now in this race.
Yeah, let's see, fair enough, he had that much tries to gamble to go on the slicks, but it just does not pay off every time. This is a perfect example of this. Let's see if anyone else is gonna try to gamble later on. Top 5 stays out. Let's see, someone like Nico maybe. No one looks to be looking for that pit stop.
Yeah, it looks like all these guys staying out. I think they may be waiting for that call.
That's Cookie. Cookie got damage. Some going white into Raskas, and
oh, he's got major damage. I can see on the front wing. So Cookie Games. Well, when he drove so well for the start of the race, he's now having a nightmare. There's Harry Noir closing up to the back of him in the Renault, and this is going to be awkward there for him there, the Greek man.
So Skidlow's back in, and
yeah,
goes into another ice retiring.
Yeah,
will it bring out some kind of safety car perhaps?
I doubt it if he's retired in the pit lane. Doesn't look like that triggers the rather sensitive safety car of this recent after this recent patch. Harnewar.
One man who has tried it is Dylan, who's just been lapped by McCrew. So I'm not seeing any positive signs for slicks at the moment, but we'll keep an eye still on him.
Considering he's gone so slowly through Razcast that he's ghosted, I think that tells you all that needs to be said about that. So yeah, Dylan. These guys, I really respect them for making that sort of gamble, but realistically, as now I believe the leaders will be catching up to Dylan. Actually, this could be a bit hairy, as I think Gary Donegan is fairly content where he is right now. He knows for winning the championship, doesn't have to win every race, and at the moment he's doing just fine where he is there. Of course, he knows he's gaining points on Cookie now after a disappointing showing in qualifying. His V5 picks up another penalty.
I think I saw someone else, but I couldn't really see who that was. It was just as Matty G has left the session. He's disconnected then, I guess. That's really unfortunate for him. He had quite a decent race, but unlucky with my opinion, undeserved penalty. He's back in, so he might be able to get something going, but this will take a hit as Cookie Games and Harry are both closing up.
Yeah, it will take him probably about a minute, maybe just under, for him to get back in the car. So that's going to be a blow for him. The track is looking increasingly dry. I'm waiting to see someone near the front of the field pull the trigger. And speaking of the devil, into the pits comes Carmentos. Gary stays out. Looks like Rick's going to stay out as well. Dan with a gamble there. Let's see how these guys, of course, we've had a few laps of track.
Mediums here.
Yep, we've had a few laps of track evolution since we saw Keller and Dylan. I'm watching Dylan's
gap. There's a bunch of people. Maybe Jeff has got these guys in.
Well, see, I'm monitoring Dylan's gap to Callum, and it's certainly not coming. The gap's certainly not increasing. Carmentalist may have pulled the master stroke here.
Nico's getting his wing replaced. I'm looking for other drivers who might. I'm not so sure if Cookie Games has. I think he has. Let's see. Yeah, he's got his wing replaced as well as let's just see.
Yeah.
I think Marcus made a. Might be mistaken here. He's done quite well. He's in P7 with a few guys still to pit in the inters.
Now he's got YYY hounding him.
I'm just monitoring the gap between Rick and Carmentos coming down at a massive rate.
It is indeed. I've been keeping an eye on that as well. Gap to leader engaged. McCrew nursing the car. Gets a massive slide on as he now finally mercilessly gets into the pits. I think he should maintain that lead because he had a good 7-second buffer. Does Gary come in? Yes, he does. Does Rick come in? Yes, he does. Looks like the last of the intermediate runners. And it's Adri that's going to hold up all these guys in the midfield. Mark down the inside from a long way back and forces the McLaren over the chicane. Bit of an error there from Marcus, getting a bit too ambitious. Top 3 drivers in the pits. Adri's trying to get back to those pits, but at the moment he's absolutely ruining the rest of the guys in the midfield. Nothing he can do about it. Nothing anyone else can do about it either. As V5 forces a move down the inside of YHYY. What are these guys doing? Oysen spun it behind them and almost takes out Nico as he goes past. They're all stacking up in Adri. Adri finally pits then as V5 and YHYY side by side for Anthony, and those do well not to come together. V5 comes through it after an absolutely crazy move, and Car Mentalist only a second away now from McCrew.
Oysen has got a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with Callum, who's into the pits now.
Nico,
I'm not too sure what that's happened.
V5 gets hugely out of shape going through a Massenet, and he's leaked 2 places there. Nico up to 7th now, and now his teammate Harry Noir on the back of him. Oysen's out of the session. Does that trigger any sort of safety car? We wait and find out as the Rhinos swap places further up the road.
Does
Rick
have any depth?
Rick's down the inside of Dan, and he makes the move stick actually. Dan gave him plenty of space. Great move from Rick, and he's put himself in a decent position.
McCrew picks up another time penalty, and looks who's close.
Carmentos, is he still clean in this race?
Yeah, he is. I've not seen him pick up a penalty, and McCrew is just picked up his 3rd penalty. Does not shown great signs for the Williams driver.
Nice
commentator's curse once again.
Commentator's curse has been out in full force tonight. But Carmentos now, so he has to stay within 6 seconds.
Down the inside of V5 into Raskas.
Cookie's he's gone very wide on exit. V5 into the pits. I think he had major damage, so that's fair enough. At the moment, Gary Donegan, just by driving a nice, solid race, not having amazing pace, probably compared to what he wanted from this race, but at the moment, currently on for a good podium if he just keeps it clean. And at the moment, on to extend that championship lead hugely over Cookie, providing everything stays roughly the same from now till the end of the race.
Yeah, it's definitely been a very solid drive from the Racing Point driver. I think he's just picked up 1 penalty, which is quite decent considering all the circumstances. And, well, he's up for a podium basically, isn't he? Dylan
he's retired in the pit lane. He's retired in the pit lane, yep.
Pit lane retirement. That's the 6th driver out of the race now, unfortunately. No safety car will be triggered. Let's see, the midfield's still quite close behind Mark.
Yeah, looks like Mark's holding them up here. He may have got damage from that lunge he made on Adri, as Nico does look a lot quicker in these drives. Yeah, Mark definitely has damage on the end plate. Let's see. So now,
why is into the pits? I'm not too sure what that's about. He's onto soft.
Does he have a wing fix? Yes, he does.
Look like he has.
Yep. So
might have been caught with that scrap with V5 earlier on.
I don't know why Dan's going so slow. Oh, he's got major wing damage. That'll explain it, because Rick has pulled a huge amount of time on him. Rick at the moment went for a pretty solid finish. Rick's just been quietly going about his business so far this season. It's provided him with decent results so far. Of course, the former force in Division 1, not quite the driver he used to be after he switched to cockpit view, and I believe turned off ABS as well. Not quite been able to find that magical pace he used to have. Currently, McCrew needs more there. Carmentalist is matching him despite having a lap older tyres, and at the moment it's not enough for McCrew, who is chasing, of course, his first win in the league. But at the moment, he's not doing enough. Of course, all Carmentalist needs to do is keep it clean, keep that gap close, and he will have secured a great win at this track. As we've got yellows in sector 2, I think that's Callum. Callum has stopped at the hairpin, and now he's got going again. That's
been it was sector 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was at the hairpin. He's about to get lapped by his teammate. Hopefully he's able to keep out the way of these guys. He's on fresh soft, so he won't be too slow even with damage, but he does have to lift through the tunnel, so he's had a lot of his downforce knocked off. Nico getting very close to the back of Mark. Harry Noir is right there as well. Of course, penalties could be the deciding factor in a race like this. The way it's gone is, car goes slowly.
Callum.
That's Callum, yeah. That was quite
out of the way.
Yeah.
And he's hit the wall again. So I think he'll be looking to get to the pits as V5 is in once again.
Oh, he's gone over the second chicane as well, just letting some guys through. See, I saw Williams off and I was flicking through to see if it was McCrew.
Yeah, luckily for him, it's not McCrew. As speaking of the man himself, sets a fast lap, but Gary goes 2/10 faster with 1:12.4.
I think Harry Noir clipped his tyres off the wall going through the Nouvelle chicane. He's coasting through now as well. So yeah, his race was looking pretty promising in that midfield fight. Now it goes downhill, but Cookie Games has actually worked his way back into this battle. He's done it. It's been a decent recovery drive despite the strategy call, and he can now look at getting a decent finish. Of course, I'm not bothering to do the penalty. I'm not going to look at the penalties, and I'm not really bothering to do any sort of calculations because, quite frankly, it's going to be a nightmare to try and work it out. We're just going to have to see how it all unfolds. But we do know that Carmentalist is in prime position to win this race as it stands. Currently still 1.5 seconds behind McCrew, matching his pace. Trying to work at the pits there. He's going to drop behind YHYY. The Finn moves up into the top 10. And we'll see, of course, how the fastest laps fare as we've got drivers on softs, drivers on mediums, and how their times compare. Hanawar picks up a penalty as well. So he's had a really rough lap in this race.
Yeah, 5 seconds time penalty even. The Cookie Games picks up a time penalty as well. Not too great for him. I think after these two last races, Rick sets the fast lap with a 1:11.9, which is a really fast lap. Anyways, Cookie, after these last two races in Spain and Monaco, he's not been too happy and losing out to Gary a bit. So he might be trying. He'll be eager, I think, for the next few races to get back up as YYY picks up a time penalty as well now.
Nico is right on the back of Mark here. He almost pulls to the outside, thinks about a move going in the massively. Mark was defensive and gets massively slows down, and Nico almost runs into the back of him.
Cookie close to Nico.
And he's gone on the inside. Oh, he had to back out of that last minute. It looks like we've got, Cookie is, he's hit the back of Nico again. I think he's massively frustrated after the race he's had, which I guess is fair enough, but he's got to try and keep his composure here. Try and keep it clean.
Just, if you look at Matt AG, it's Callum who's last been in the way still. Not too great for him, as Carmental is now within a second of the crew actually, with Gary setting the fast lap here.
Does Gary now, I don't know how many penalties does Gary have, because I think he may be in with a shout of getting P2 in this race there with McCrew's penalties.
Yeah, he has 1 penalty and 2 warnings though, so you gotta watch out. Carmental is also on 1 penalty. So G5 sets the fast lap of the race. It's Cookie into the pits.
Oh wow!
He might have, he has front wing damage. He's onto softs.
I think that might have been. It didn't look like he had visible damage, but I think from when he tapped Nico a few times. Speaking of Nico, he's right on the back of Mark once again. Mark, does he pull defensive into Massimiliano this time? I think I have heard Mark saying he has an issue with his controller that randomly pulls left sometimes. That may have been it, but yeah, the Racing Point putting pressure on the Ferrari man, no way through yet. And if McCrew's pace is going to drop off as Morgan leaves the session there after an early DNF, if McCrew holds up Carmentalist, then it could bring Gary into play there. There's still laps left in this race. We'll see. Carmentalist, he's in pole position to win this race, but he's still got some pressure on. Of course, it's Monaco. You've always got to keep it clean, keep it out the walls. And the race is far from won yet. The Toro Rosso man in the prime position, but now he's got a Williams slowing down just in front of him. How's he going to navigate this?
Yeah, definitely. It's Nico once again close to Marcus. Mark hits the wall kind of on the exit of the swimming pool chicane. There's Callum appearing in inside Nico's car, but he pulls into the pits. Anyways, no moves here happening. It looks like, unless Nico can get a great exit here. Does have the ERS open, not close enough. Any sort of move here.
He has a huge pace advantage over Mark, but he does have a few penalties, as does Matty G. I don't think Mark has too many penalties, but he definitely has at least one. Of course, they're driving a limping Ferrari with damage there. Parking the buses. Oh, Nico, for me, lifted off the ground there for a brief second.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Might have actually happened, to be honest. So So recognize that as Carmental is really close now to McCrew. As to DRS, looks for a move, but he needs to be patient, to be honest.
The question is, does he know about McCrew's penalties as Mark picks up a penalty? Because if he doesn't, he may try and force something here, which he doesn't need to. All he has to do right now is hold possession, avoid getting a penalty himself, and he has this win, because Gary's going to struggle to get through on the Toro Rosso, man, really. It's Carmentalist, if he's got that right mentality, if he has the info he needs, he's just going to try and keep it, try and be clinical as calm.
And there's a safety car.
Oh wow! Huge,
This
huge.
just flies up as there's only 6 laps to go, and probably 3 of them will be under the safety car, I expect.
Who pits, who stays out? Cookie is just pitted actually, so he's been a good... Oh, V5's picked up a drive-through. He's sped under the safety car.
Gets him out of shout of points unless a crash happens.
Yeah,
Someone.
You can't serve that. He's a lap down anyway, so V5.
White is into the pits.
So
and I think he's getting his wing changed.
Well, McCrew is just coming round to the pit lane now. What does he do? Track possession so key at Monaco, but he is going to pit.
In.
And Carmentalist and Gary stay out. This is huge. We could see it, a straight fight on track for this win now.
But what's McCrew doing? Is he's getting... It looks like he's getting his wing removed and replaced as well. But he's going to be onto softs. Rick is in. And I think he has... Yeah, he's been held up by his teammate.
Do you know who benefits from this hugely? Is ILRT Dan.
ILRT Dan, just about to say.
Because he's still...
Is he going to be ahead? That's... He can't be doing that twice a race, that's fair enough. And he's got a freezing time on corner cutting as well there. Yeah. So that really sacks his penalties up, to be honest. I think he's on 17 seconds.
Oof, yeah, I think that's going to set him back now. Hugely, because the field's going to be bunched up.
And now, you know the driver who's always immune to penalties?
Yeah.
He's still immune to penalties this race.
Yeah,
and Gary both have 3 seconds.
And Dan is on about the same age of tyres, is right behind him on track. Could ILRT Dan win this race?
That would be mad, because where did he even start? He started in P11, outside the top 10, and he might be winning this race.
Wow.
And at least in a shadow of a podium, there's a few lap cars here, White for White, P5.
Yeah, and White for White.
Harry.
Yeah.
So that might not benefit. I don't know if these drivers can get past or not. I don't know how that works in the game, to be honest.
They might be being told to stay behind, which is, not gonna lie, a little bit disappointing. Because essentially we've got 3 ghost cars now in this battle. If only they were allowed to be let through, but I don't think that's gonna happen. We've still got a few cars that need to catch the train as well. Massively spread out field now after being so close during the wet period. So that's going to give Dan a bit more of a gap, but he is behind McCrew.
Matty G is also fitted. It's field so spread out right now.
Yeah.
Like, Cookie Game is still trying to catch, Adri's still trying to catch the train. I think Matty G's just opting for a new set of tires. McCrew.
Oh.
That will
Well, he can get that one removed, but he's going to drop so far down the field. I think he's going to have to... Yeah, well, he can get that one removed. So, I think Matty G... So it's going to be Matty G, V5, and McCrew are going to be at the stewards there. So, the results in this race won't exactly be determined yet. But Carmentalist still leads the pack. But really, I'm looking for this man, ILRT Dan. The man who physically cannot pick up a penalty.
He is on 2 warnings though.
I think I saw one of them was on the first lap though, and that might be for a collision.
I'm actually gonna check that, just to be sure. IRT Dan, yeah, that's the collision with YYY. When he tried to get it down the inside of Mirbo, because I think he's just jumped the brakes on that one.
So Dan, almost guaranteed not to get a penalty now. So now,
Yeah,
and
this can
the
get quite mad, but I don't know how this is gonna work with the ghost cars, to be honest.
yeah, for me, they should be just. I don't know how to handle them. Hopefully, they don't get interrupted too much because I really don't want 3-lapped cars to get in the way of this. But it doesn't look like because McCrew is still sitting behind Harry
Yeah,
Work, so I
don't
don't
think
think.
he is allowed to get past. At
Which
least the
is
game tells.
yeah, which is a huge shame. Because really, I'd
Yeah,
like
it
to see.
is.
I'd love to see McCrew on fresh tyres, hounding the back of Gary Donegan of the restart. It doesn't look like we're going to get that, but we're just waiting, I think, for Adri to close up
So
to the back.
Mark,
As Mark again, another
that's
another Stewards
I know
inquiry.
what. Yeah, I think this Eloise Stewart might be having a busy time this weekend. um, Anyways, I think we might be on for a restart this lap.
Hopefully, so that
So
means we'll be gifted to. Just waiting for that. It should go in this lap. I'd predict.
Adri is trying to catch up still.
There we go. Yep.
I think Adri should be catching up.
Safety car confirmed. And at the end of this lap, the lap cars may spoil this restart a little bit.
How eager is Gary gonna be for this win? Is he gonna try to get past the Toro Rosso, or is he just gonna take it easy and stick behind?
Gary will be thinking about the championship as Carmentos gets it on the way. Gary, huge slide of oversteer coming out the final corner, and I'm waiting to these lap cars certainly aren't getting out the way. Now, the crucial gap here is between Dan and Carmentos, currently 3.3 seconds. Mercedes has got to make up some time, but Crew yet another penalty. You must be nearing disqualification at this point. Ivor and Mike, your record's in danger, pal. But currently
yeah, I
Carmentos.
think he's on 30 seconds at the moment. So not quite, as Nico's looking quite close behind, as he picks up damage, you see, and Matty G getting past.
Oh, Cookie, here. Massive lunge, and he gets the move done. That's a good move. Going down into Maribor. Adri as well, sending up the inside. Nico's having car after car,
and
diving.
Speaking of Dan, he's made a mistake.
So
and he's now 2.5 seconds back from McCrew at the moment. And Gary Donegan picks up a time penalty. And this basically secures Commenceless victory at the moment.
He's got to stay within, well, 1.2 seconds and not get a penalty. That's the key thing. So Gary Donegan, I don't think it's going to cost him too much in the whole complexion of this race.
Dan might jump him, to be fair.
Yeah, but he might have jumped him anyway. It would have been very close. But currently Dan's actually dropping back, so he might actually have damage. I'm not sure.
And that's Cookie getting into the pits. I'm not too sure. I think there was some bit of carnage there. Anyway, we still have 12 drivers remaining. As McCrew is past Gary.
Oh wow!
And that's down the inside of Casinos, or actually around the outside of Casino Square.
Yeah, V5 out the session there.
Does
so
Gary have damage?
Gary, I think he does have damage.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his line
right
plate. Yes.
M plates.
Right. Where does this put him? McCrew giving chase to Carmentalist. Carmentalist is essentially now.
I see Dan does have damage as well.
He's
That's why it's so slow.
Yeah, Jacob's confirmed that in the chat actually.
So where is Rick on this? Where is Rick on this? I think Rick has. He's had a drive-through for that.
Has he served it? How recent was it?
I don't think, because it was in a lap 33, which.
I just saw a Toro Rosso front wing at to back. So I think I may have been a Toro Rosso, I'm not sure, but Carmentalist now. I think he does have.
Into the pits. Why is Rick onto?
Why is he
drive-through?
Oh, he's serving that drive-through. Yeah, because I think he might have got disqualified otherwise.
Yeah.
So Rick drops back. An absolutely chaotic race. We're on the final lap now. McCrew chasing down Carmentalist. Carmentalist, all he has to do is keep it on the island. He has jumped hugely out in front with the penalties. McCrew will be kicking himself for I'm seeing. Well, Jacob said Rick is on for a win. Well, certainly not anymore. But yeah, it's Carmentalist leading the way now. We're gonna keep on board with the Toro Rosso man. while everyone is crumbled around. He almost hits the wall. I really hope I don't commentator's curse him now. But he knows what he has to do. Just keep it clean for one more sector. Very cautious through to back. He knows what he's doing. He's been put under pressure. He's had to put up with a lot of cars around him. But he has stayed out of trouble. Made all the right calls. Car Mentalist around the final corner now, and he is going to take the win in this absolutely manic Monaco race. He comes over the line there. McCrew in second. Gary Donegan, is he going to stay get in P2? He does jump McCrew. Dan gets P2 in the end because of Gary's penalties.
Where's he?
Mark jumps in.
McCrew.
Adri gets fourth.
And that's
wow.
Matthew in P5. Mark in P6.
Rick gets fourth
Rick?
after a drive-through penalty.
53. mental. And he jumps Adley by 53 fastest of a second.
Wow.
Where's Cookie's going to end up? I know he has quite a bit of penalties.
I think, well, we'll see
He's
how this...
behind McCrew and Nico. The last one to cross the line, and I think he's staying in P10.
Wow. I don't think we can... I think we can take these results with a pinch of salt, because I think the steward's office will be a busy place after that race. Both in terms of the instance and in terms of some of the penalties that were dished out. Wow. What a race. I'm lost for words at the end of that. Absolute mayhem here in the Monaco. But Car Mentalist, well, all others fell around him. He was the one that picked up the pieces. He takes the win here in Monaco.
Yes, Gary, I think, extends his championship lead here. And let me actually check. I think Dan is, with provisional results, is jumping Cookie Games. So consistency is key for the RLT driver.
Was he 13 points behind, if I'm not mistaken?
He was 13 points behind Cookie.
Of course, I imagine Stewart's inquiry pending.
And
but
after 55, almost 56 minute long race, Mentalist comes out on top ahead of Dan and Gary, Rick, Adri, Matty G, Mark, McCrew. Cookie Games unfortunately having a bad race and losing out a bit on the championship battle with 5 pit stops. Matt, Nico in 10th, YYY and Harry close out. The things around MP5. Callum, Dylan, Oyston, Killblue, Morgan, Bunty and Subgamer all not finishing.
And I think Callum has set the world record for most pit stops in a race with 6. So
yeah,
I think
anyone
that's...
wants to try and beat that.
Wow, that was one of the craziest races. Not that I've just commentated on, but just in general, one of the craziest races I've ever seen on any racing game. Unbelievable. Just absolutely manic. And in the end, it's Car Mentalist who did a great job controlling the race while really everyone else was bottling or hitting the wall or getting penalties. Absolutely crazy. There's not much more to say here. But yeah, after that race, we're gonna have to go and probably have a lie down in a cold bath. Yeah, so just to round this off, I've been Daka, he's been Verstappen, and we'll see you next time.